Hi. So I already clicked go live and I hadn't even decided what deck I wanted to use. Good evening, afternoon, morning, grand rising. As always, this video is not sponsored. So I feel like I had a thought. Maybe I'll just pull cards. You're helping me stay awake. I shifted my body today's kind of sort of intentionally. I go back to work tomorrow. And so I'm trying to shift back to nights now. Exciting times to be had later today, this evening. As in, hey Holly, how you doing? I'm gonna try to be more conscious of the level of volume of my voice. I feel like I did a decent job at the beginning of the last one, but by the end of it, I was like, well, it was 8:00 in the morning, so by that point. I don't know what deck I want to use if I want to use a deck. I don't even really know what I'm doing today, besides general whatever. I could go for the After Tarot. That's what I'll do. I'm going to grab the After Tarot, the deck that I almost grabbed last time. And for some reason, I want to use the Fairy Oracle. I'm feeling drawn to the Fairy Oracle, but I don't want to use it. So we'll see if I do or not. If I can find it. Oh, it's probably right here. Yep, it's exactly where I thought it was. I'll grab it. And there's so many series I want to finish, like the before, after, in between, the data information. Also, for some reason, one of my recent videos is apparently circulating, and I'm seeing my subscribers go up, and I'm like, what's happening? So I guess if someone is new here, welcome. That's not the reason why I changed it to 5-week subscriber only. Excuse me. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I was thinking about. So I was talking to Remy yesterday, and I told her, I did tell her. I told her about a special project that I'm working on, right? And then I got a general reading. Well, I guess it wasn't general. I got read by a very good friend of mine, I guess, about it. And then I went to work out today. This is the part. I went to work out today. I'm on the treadmill. Star Wars is on. Star Wars. Who does that make me think of? Kenobi. Who Kenobi? Rob Kenobi. And then I leave the gym to go to Starbucks, and I'm sitting we're behind a car with the license plates of his state on it. And I'm like, okay. And then I get a message that I was not expecting, which was seemingly, because I haven't dug all the way into it yet, but which is seemingly related to my special project. And so the moral of the story here is be careful what you wish for be careful of having friends that are sensitive to the force, that are force sensitive, because it'll come from anywhere and everywhere. And I feel like there are things that I like to think about, and there are things that I like to entertain. But it's like I like to talk about doing stuff. Sometimes, oh my gosh, you can't even see me. I like to talk about doing stuff sometimes that I don't really want to do. It's like I do want to do them until it becomes a lot. And then I'm like, oof, this is a lot. But anyway, I was like, they got me. Can't escape it. And then, of course, there were synchronicities in other places. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I get it. It was very reassuring, I guess. It's like, I guess there are things that I know, but it's more reassuring to hear someone else say some of it, because while I don't mind having an ego, I very much so don't. I also am not necessarily trying to be like egotistical, if that makes sense. Or an ego full of ego. Like ego is fine. Like an ego that is backed up is fine. But like baseless ego, and like for me, I'm like, that's not necessarily what I'm necessarily trying to be doing. You know what I mean? Okay. But anyway. What doorways have we? Oh, and I was thinking about the last reading. I titled it one thing, but I titled it Seeker of Secrets Kept, Initiated, Doing What Needed Be Done. And then I retitled it. And in that, like the Temptress of the Queen of Pentacles, the in reverse, the Ebony Shield, and then the Devil came out in reverse. And then it was like the Devil came out in reverse with the Archangel Commander, and it was like being devil proof. And it was like not giving in to the temptation of the Queen of Pentacles, the Ebony Shield. But then I was like, well, for that situation, like devil energy makes sense as a gatekeeper, as a checker of egos, as a verifier of the pure of heart, or just to make sure that the intentions align. We get where our intentions lead us, right? And it was in reverse. They were both in reverse. But then I was also thinking, because I was like, I don't know what the Golden Shield and the Archangel of Glory were doing there. Like the Archangel of Glory came out recently. Because I was like, look at the scrolls in the books. Because the book came out in the Lenormand. And then that's why. Okay, I remember now. But then I was like, maybe that's next. Because at the end, I was talking about how first, like the Archangel of Mysteries is just been ever present because it's all mysterious. But first it was the King of Cups, Archangel of Healing. That was like center stage. And then it was the King of Swords, Archangel Commander. And maybe the Archangel of Glory, King of Wands is like next. But again, linked and connected to, I guess that makes sense in a way. The Archangel Commander. So, excuse me, anyway, let's get a fairy. Just general for whoever it may resonate for, or an interesting thought experiment, or that is too many fairies. Do I have reversals in here? Oh my gosh. I'm just going to take all the cards upright. Am I taking these though? Nope. I'll take 2 cards at the most. Oh, snap. Okay. I wouldn't mind Oracle Juice Makers. Well, we'll see. We'll see. This video is sponsored. Can you imagine me doing sponsored videos and then just like getting drunk? I wouldn't necessarily get drunk. I drink because I like to, not because I need to or have to. And I don't drink to get drunk. Okay. 2 at the most. 1 would be gorgeous. You see this? Do I take this? Oh. So it went here to like I had the other cards here. It actually fell on top of these and then it hit the floor. And then it hit the flow. The flow. Sylvanius. This is the one with the Mask of Truth, isn't it? This is so much farther. The Tippecanoe. Oh my gosh. I went to school in Tippecanoe County. I remember Tippecanoe County. This channel, it's a legacy channel though. So I can't change the name. This channel was a YouTube, like this account was a YouTube account before Google acquired YouTube. So I'm pretty sure my name is stuck. Every time I've tried to change it, it hasn't let me. This is branded Rio Koruk for life. But I could make a second channel. Oracle Juice Intuitive. Tippecanoe. I had another one. That's fine. Ooh. Oh, what is that? Ew, that is not great. Okay. Number 34. Sylvanius. Do I feel like reading all of this? Truth. Cutting through deception, clarity. Hold up, this is bothering me. It's so far off. But I wasn't. So I could just crop it a little bit. This is a lot. I guess it doesn't matter. Do I care that much? Sometimes I watch old videos and I'm like, oof. I didn't care at the time, but now I'm kind of wishing I cared a little bit more. Just a tad bit more. There we go. That is perfectly dandy. There we go. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Ba-da-da-da. There we go. Oof. No. No. I would never, ever. No. Love the idea, but not for me. All right. Sylvanus. Now, when I do this, you can actually see the card. Brian called this painting the Mask of Truth, True Dreaming. Sylvanus, who holds the Mask of Truth, is Lord of the Woodlands. His crown of antler branches, signifying his authority. There we go. I can hold it like this because my arm won't get real tired. He presents the mask to us, supported by the Fairy of Aspiration, as she welcomes us to our own potential. We wear the mask to look inward, seeing our true selves, not our false and fearful selves, but the beings of light that we truly are and what we have the potential to be. It becomes very difficult for us to make excuses and blame others for our failures and fears once we have seen what we could be if we were willing, what in fact we already are, but are not quite living up to. This is interesting. The fairy associated with truth came out. And it's interesting because at the end of that last live, I'm pretty sure I mentioned Phanuel, angel of truth, the angel who waits at the throne. And it was that energy when I read the passage from the book. And it was like the fool is approaching the high priestess with a capacity that allows them to have a conversation. Cool. Let's get one of these just to see what's inside. The Fairy of Truth, a mask that allows you to see yourself. Oh, snap. This card came out yesterday, or whenever that was, the day before. I think it was yesterday. The Nine of Wands. But this one isn't alone. Was that yesterday? No. Because yesterday I used the Spirit Keeper's Tarot and it didn't come out in the SKT, I'm pretty sure. So that was the day before. That was in the other live. That was the Nine of Wands. It was the moon in Sagittarius, the one that had the vision of the future, and the one whose vision motivated it. That's at the bottom of the deck. This Nine of Wands, interestingly enough, is a 10 of Wands. Right? No, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. It isn't. I lied. Sorry. I was going to say it's a 10 because I thought there were 9 in the back and 2 of them holding the one because usually it's 8 and 1. And then it'd be like it's a 10 of Wands, but because they're working together, it like they divvy up the burden. And you can see how like I guess that well they're wounded in different ways, but they stand together. Or they stand side by side. The card that actually came out, it's the Ten of Cups. I thought it was the star for a second because of the stars in the sky, especially this one. And then these other ones because it's like different. And a lot of depictions of the star card that I've seen, there's like one huge star and then like 7 or 8 smaller stars. Um, Behind the Nine of Wands is the Four of Pentacles. And behind that is the Page of Swords. And behind that is the Seven of Cups. These, for this person, so I'll show you how I saw it. Like, this person looks like they appear in the Ten of Cups by the fire. If it would semi-focus, right? It's this guy, this one, right here. That's him, right? Now, what's interesting is, well, maybe it's because it's Sylvanus. Like, the Ten of Cups came out. Excuse me. So it's like the Ten of Cups would be where we are. The Nine of Wands would be like where we've come from. But I mean, it could be true, right? But I would just like assume that we're more like Nine of Wands in the present, heading towards the Ten of Cups. But then I'll look at the Four of Pentacles, and that also looks like the same person. Now, I guess like that could be what happened to this individual. Like, this is the timeline, right? The Reaper came, he got beat up, and then he finds a new family. Or it's like he experiences a loss that teaches him what he actually values as important. See, I knew I was feeling this energy. Okay. Because behind this is the Page of Swords. So I'm like, oh, the Page of Swords is like the Reaper. Now, these two together, to me, would be like, there's someone who can't keep up with the times. Someone who lives in the past, who follows an old paradigm, one that isn't necessarily productive for the current world that they live in. Because like the Page of Swords is like the one with the crazy ideas and the beginner's mind. Like it's the rebellious teenager as opposed to like the older person who's stuck in their ways. And it's almost like the progression of time itself is coming for whatever that fortune is. But I see these people because behind the Page of behind the Page of Swords is the Seven of Cups. And you can see it's almost like that person being corrupted. And so in my mind, it was this story that was like, there's this guy, and he's like, if I ever become corrupt, like, promise me that you'll stop me. You know what I mean? And then in the Page of Swords, I saw the other people approaching. So I was like, oh, yeah, that's perfect. Like, if I ever stray from the path, promise me that you'll help me find my way, type of energy. And so maybe that's like the second set of footprints in the sand. The divine that always stands beside you. It's funny you mention that because I'm watching an anime. And so the thing that gives this a sort of context is in Sylvanus, right? And I'll read it again because it was like you see the truth of who you are. What did it say? The book said it best. He presents the mask to us, supported by the fairy of aspiration, as she welcomes us to our own potential. We wear the mask to look inward, seeing our true selves, not our false and fearful selves. Oh my gosh, behind the corrupted Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups in the Spirit Keeper's Tarot is the corrupted. So it works. But behind that is the Nine of Swords. And behind the Nine of Swords is the Ace of Wands. Like when I first saw this, I was like, oh, well, like that gives it a context. But it's like the thing that we're afraid of. It's that quote from Aquila and the Bee. That's like, what if our greatest fear isn't that we are inept morons? But what if our greatest fear is that we're actually extremely capable, very intelligent, wise, whatever, beautiful individuals? And it's like we're afraid of our own brilliance more so than we're afraid of not being brilliant. And it's like it's the Ace of Wands that the divine is presenting. That is the source of this Nine of Swords. Oof. Hold up. Did I just get red low key? I'm kidding. Kind of. Old Patrick. Definitely a read for Old Patrick. And so it's like rather than doing the thing that we may be afraid of, that we're very much so feeling called to do, because it's like we know what is for us to do. A lot of times we know what it is, but we're afraid or it's inconvenient or we don't know how we're going to go about doing it. And so we seek other ways of getting what we want or where we want. And so it's like we trade the salamander for the snake, not realizing that we're choosing the snake because the snake has left its cup. It's like the snake was up here, or it could have been down here. Doesn't matter. But for the sake of this, the snake was up here. This person chose this cup, but they didn't realize that they were also choosing the snake and choosing that. If they would have followed the Ace of Wands, it would have been a snake-free path. And then because they made that choice, the Reaper came to collect. And again, it's kind of sort of one of those things where, like, if you would have chosen the salamander, oh my gosh, it's the salamander. That's interesting because the salamander is on the King of Wands. And I was talking about how maybe the Archangel of Glory comes next. Right? So yeah, that was the fear and worry. So we wear the mask to look inward, seeing our true selves, not our false and fearful selves, but the beings of light that we truly are and what we have the potential to be. It becomes very difficult for us to make excuses and blame others for our failures and fears once we have seen what we could be if we were willing. So that's why it's like, this is what we could be that we see. And this is sort of like what we hang on to. It's because of the fear that we make the choice and decision that we make, which includes choices and decisions that we may not necessarily think that we're making. It's like, oh, well, I didn't choose to blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, you actually did. When you chose this, you also chose this. But it was your own lack of a willingness to face yourself truly that blinded you to it. But you made the choice. And it's interesting because baggage, oh, that's this, the 10 of Wands energy. When we want one thing, sometimes it comes with something else and we don't necessarily see it. Who are you? At the bottom of the deck is a fairy. Which fairy are you? The receptive principle, nurturing, and fertility. Oh, and it mentions cups. This is the great goddess, the many-named mother of all. And all goddesses are attributes or aspects of her. Her cup, the kruak, overflows with bounty for all. She is the yin energy of the universe, nurturing, compassionate, and wise. And the guardian of the gate is behind her. So these two together would almost be Ivory Shield, a goddess associated with cups, and a guardian. Or it could literally be the Archangel of Healing. The Archangel of Healing was this energy, like I talked about yesterday. The Archangel of Healing was the one that got us. It put us in the spiritual sensory deprivation tank, so we can see like what is us and what isn't us. Our light, our shadow, like our darkness, the good and the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the radiant, the dull, everything. And that's this mask of truth as well. But again, it's stuff that we may not necessarily want to face, and that's fine. It's funny you mentioned Jack and the Beanstalk because I feel like I've seen. Oh, wait. No, that was something different. I feel like I've seen Jack and the Beanstalk recently. Let's get one more fairy. Why not? We're going to put these back in, shuffle them. I guess I'm still on this. Ooh, I just saw the death card. I saw the flag of death. The battle standard. The Reapers. Jolly Roger. Ooh. The moon just showed itself. Show yourself. Ooh, I'm on both back. It's almost bedtime. Bedtime. Is that the daughter of the moon? No, I'm like, I should have took that card. Unconditional giving, unconditional receiving. So no, that's not the daughter of the moon. I just saw the daughter of the moon though. It's not Apana. It's the other one, right? Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. Wait, is it not her either? I don't know. It's fine. Also, I was playing Into the Gungeon, and there's an item. It's a shield that provides 2 shields instead of just one. And it has a cup of knowledge on it. And I was like, cup of knowledge? That's interesting. Because swords would be more associated with knowledge. And it's a shield. And shields are made for deflecting and protecting from swords. But it's a shield that's associated with knowledge that bears the image of a cup. And then I thought of Finn and the golden salmon and Amanda. On them card messages. I was like, girl, I was like, I know. Oh my gosh. I just saw you. I was like, is she the girl I was looking for? She is not the girl I was looking for, but she came out. Number 61. Fairy number 61. Fairy number 61. Fairy number 61. Now here's upon his wild daughter. I went looking for you and I couldn't find you. But it's not you. It's the other one. I'm pretty sure. Where is the other one? I ain't finding nobody I'm looking for. Lady of the Horse and the Moon. Here we go. Jehobia. This is the card that came out. That's the fairy. Imaginary fears, unreal hazards, realistic caution. So now the fairy of fear. We saw the fairy of truth. He refuses to tell me what the G in his name stands for. Because he says the more we know about him, the less power he has, and the harder it is to do his job. This tells you a lot about him. His powers lie in our imaginations and fears, not in the real world, not in any of the real worlds. This is the wicked thing in the closet who keeps frightened children awake at night with eerie snuffling, waffling sounds. But when you turn on the light and open the door, he isn't there. Brian wrote, he exists only through the collection of our fears. The Habia thrives on fears, getting stronger and stronger until we face him. He is a sham, a tiny fear blown all out of proportion, and the smallest positive thought will banish him. All of Fairyland knows this, and none is afraid of him. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Well, the Mask of Truth will banish him. For sure. We already had that one. Let's see. I saw her. Lists of the Shadows. Healing the Shadows. Oh my gosh. Healing the Shadows is at the bottom of the deck when Imaginary Feels Unreal Hazards came out. Wow, look at that. There's so much like support in doing so many of the difficult things. And here's another fairy that I saw in the book. Iris of the Rainbows. Liz works hard. She has a very tough job to do, and she puts a great deal of tough love into it. She prowls the night streets looking for those in need of her help and finds far too many of them. Lise is the patron fairy of social workers, therapists, healers, and all others who try to help alcoholics and drug addicts and other souls caught in the darkness of their own inner shadows or who are ambushed by those who should have protected them. However, she doesn't sit in an office somewhere. She is out there on the dark and dangerous streets, lending a healing hand here, soothing an anguished brow there, whispering comfort and encouragement into a lonely ear, and bringing a touch of hopeful rainbow light into the deepest shadows, including those in darkened human hearts. And Iris of the Rainbow was literally right under her. Ooh, I'm not trying to get banned. So the fairy that banishes fears is literally right here, offering subtle encouragements. Ooh, ooh. Perfect. She would need, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Lise or Liz would view her as someone in need. Guess what card that is? Probably not too hard if you know tarot. Look what's at the bottom of the deck again. Nine of Wands. But this time the Eight of Wands is behind it. And then there's the moon. The moon that peeked out. It kind of flipped over and I was like, nah, it showed itself. The Five of Cups came out. I feel like this is someone who is facing a fear. Because in the Five of Cups, a lot of times in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith and in the, well, maybe in the Before Tarot, I don't remember. But the person is focused on the three spilled cups and mourning them. But in the After Tarot, they're at least looking towards the cups that are still full. They are turning away from darkness. And when I saw the Five of Cups, I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect for this fairy who helps those who are in need. Those who are in the dark, consumed by fear. And then we get our little salamander friend and this Knight of Swords. There's the salamander. Ooh. You know how sometimes when you notice stuff in the background and you're just like, oh, this just kind of sort of took a turn. It's taken a turn that's very reminiscent of the metaphor from yesterday or the day before. That was the person in the spiritual sensory deprivation tank, the person who thinks that their darkness is that they're selfish because they were told that they're selfish by people who just use them. And then it's like they were selfless to a fault, like they would put everyone else's mask on and then just be out of commission. I feel like there's a lot of ways that I could read this. Where's judgment? We're gonna go looking before. Oh, judgment or justice? Justice or judgment? ¿Por qué no los dos? We'll look for both of them. I guess I would say judgment. Where is judgment? It is a yellow star. That's why it was giving me star energy. It's the yellow star with the white stars around it, like in that Ten of Cups. I was like, this is like low-key star energy. And the star came out at the end. First, there was the thing that couldn't be healed for some weird reason until it could be. Oh, cute. There's a reminder in case you forgot. This card is at the top of the deck. Oh my gosh. Finally. Hilarious. Judgment and justice were right next to each other. So it's 5. Justice, judgment, 5. 5 of Pentacles, justice, judgment, 5 of Swords. So the reason why I went looking for judgment and or justice was because in this 5 of Cups card, someone is drowning. You see him? Oh, it was about to focus and I moved it. That guy, that person is drowning. And she's like, I can't do anything to help you. That's why I was like, there's a lot that could be read into this card. There you go. But like with this energy, that's why it may be like not trying to jump in front of somebody else's karma bus, not taking ownership for things that are not yours to take ownership over, not interfering with someone else's lesson plan. It's funny that I mentioned Amanda on them car messages because she did a reading. I think it wasn't even a reading. It was more like, just as the divine has helped you get to where you are and is helping you go where you're going, it's helping you get where you're going, it's doing the same for others. And like, it's trusting that they will get where they're going in their own time and at their own pace, rather than being frustrated at someone for not being on the journey like you or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, allow them their own process. And sometimes that means that just like you had to fail and fall, they're going to have to. And like, there was more to it, but that's kind of the gist of it. Ooh. Because I was looking at this and I'm like, oh my gosh. I feel like even the horses freaked out. Like, whoa, what are you doing with that sword, buddy? The Knight of Swords came out yesterday, didn't it? It was the Knight of Swords and the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands brought the message of the High Priestess. Did the Page of Wands bring the High Priestess? I'm pretty sure it did. And it was like, with the Knight of Swords, it was like, you know enough to get started. The Knight's knowing isn't complete, but no, it was the Three of Pentacles in reverse, because it was do it yourself. It was like, you know enough to get started. You don't have to keep waiting until you know everything, because maybe that will never be the case. Maybe there's learning in the process that's important. No, there are 3 5s on the table: 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords. This could also be like, because I'm looking at the Queen of Wands, and it's like the Knight is doing this, she isn't. And so it could also be one of those like justice energies where it's like, instead of hyperfixating on whether or not somebody else is going to get what they deserve for whatever they did or didn't do to you, like, just keep working towards getting your own justice, getting what you want. And other people are going to get what's coming to them, good or bad, good, bad, or indifferent. It's like that verdict will be made, right? Oh my gosh. Well, if it isn't Gabriel in the Judgment card, because I'm looking at this. I was looking at the clouds. Almost how, like, it kind of looked like this lady was like grabbing onto the cloud. And then I was like, I've seen clouds on one of these cards. It's the 5 of Cups. And then, of course, there was that whole like that question that's been coming up lately, apparently, for some reason. Because it's like Judgment Day is happening for them and they've died, but she's still alive. Judgment Day is coming and she's still alive. If you know, you know. Or you've been watching for the past, I don't even know how long. Where did he go? I saw him. Excuse me. Oh, he's in here quite a ways. I don't remember now. There it is. This justice is almost feeling like this, maybe. See how that one's got the crown and the fancy dress, and both of these are bandaged on the head. And it's like it's the same character. Not the scales of Anubis. Speaking of the moon popping out, the moon and the SKT is the necromancer. And the scale of Anubis are present at least in the Revelations edition. But, oops. I'm like, go back. Where did Justice go? The scales are there too, so, you know. Maybe we should keep reading. I mean, do we need to? I guess we can try to get a card. What does the G stand for? Imaginary. All right, what's the G stand for? Because why not? Maybe. 2 more. 1 more. Wow. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. I don't know what the G stands for. Try to see if I can get a card, but I feel like I haven't talked about the 5 of Swords or the 5 of Pentacles. It almost feels like, so justice comes out for those that don't have the resources, right? And the scales and the 2 people in front of a person holding scales is very 6 of Pentacles energy. Let's see if I can find it real quick to show you. Nope. Like it's very 6 of Pentacles energy. Those are the scales. Now the after tarot, like I'm sure those have already received and they're on their way, and then this person is about to receive. Right. And then there are like the 2 people in front of someone with scales. So that's why it's giving me 6 of Pentacles energy. So for those who are in need, they will get the assistance, but on the side of judgment is the person who has fought their own battle. And that's getting into the Archangel Commander. That's like, this is your fight. You don't need me to swoop in and save the day. Like, you got this. And then after you handle it, he's like, okay, well, now let me show you what else you can do with the sword. And that's on the side of justice. And that was a thing yesterday. I mean, it's always been a thing, but it came out, or I tried to emphasize it more, about how it's not like a requirement of us living a good, like fulfilled, wholesome, whatever life. Like, we don't have to take up the sword ourselves. We can be this, where we focus on what is for us to focus on, and Archangel Michael or whoever else will come in and take care of whatever you need taken care of. You just focus on your healing and focus on being great. Somebody else will do that. That's what you got knights for, and guardian angels and stuff like that. Right? For those who need, help will be given. Justice is on their side. Unlike what it may seem to be sometimes in reality. Major arcana justice, divine justice, sees those in need and helps. And it doesn't worry about, like, we ain't got to go there. It's fine. And he is kind of like looking up and holding the sword. And Gabriel is question mark coming after. Okay, that's funny. Oh no, it blurs. It's interesting. It's like Gabriel comes after the Archangel's glory, comes after the Archangel Commander, after we've learned to do whatever, right? And it's like he's holding up the sword towards Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, who was the space of the Archangel of Glory. I was like, see, like I did it. Tell Big Mike, I got this. But the funny part is, because again, it was the Archangel of Glory, the Golden Shield, and the Two of Swords all in reverse. There are two swords that are on the ground. So it's like, there's the Two of Swords in reverse. There's our Archangel of Glory. Because of the battles that we face and fight. Right? That is actually funny. That's interesting. Cool. And again, it's like, if you need help, help is right there. There's no shame in it. We get to whatever point we get to whenever we get there. Right? We're all learning, growing, developing, maturing, coming into who we are. And it's like, it's not for us to be everything. That's why there's so many of us. If we all do what we like want and what we're good at, there's enough of us that everyone, it's like things can run smoothly and no one's miserable because they're doing something that they don't want to do. Believe it or not, there are people who actually like cleaning. Well, they may not necessarily like cleaning as much as they like things being clean. You know what I mean? And I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 because it was on sale, so I got it. I was like, yes. I just finished Enter the Gungeon, basically. I was gonna go live, like stream it from my PlayStation, because I'm like, I'm better than I was before. And I've unlocked all the characters now, but anyway, it's fine. Why am I talking about Enter the Gungeon? I don't even remember what I was talking about anymore. I was saying how there are people. Oh, I'm playing Final Fantasy 16, and there's a guard, and he's like, and he stands at the jail all day, and the person's like, oh, well, this seems boring. And he's like, yeah, but sometimes people make mistakes and they need to be behind bars until they get released. And it was basically like if these people were to stay on the streets, or if these people were to stay out amongst the civilians or whatever, then there would be people who like lose sleep at night because they're so worried about whether or not they're going to be next. So it's actually an important job to handle the worries of another so that they can sleep, so that they can rest, so that they have time to heal or focus on whatever they need to focus on, take care of whatever they need to take care of. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in anything. It's like a people comparison thing where it's like, oh, well, like, I got to do this or do that or be this or be like that because this other person is whatever. If it ain't for you, like, don't even worry about it. Maybe that's it. I love how these are like just like complimenting the fairies at least each other. There's the fairy of fear and then the fairy that helps us fight our fears. Am I doing one more? Oh, it's already been an hour. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just do final cards. And then I'll go to bed. Excuse me. And then I'll go to bed. Did you see that? Did y'all see that? Did you see it? Oh. Wow. Synchronicity. Whites. Final after tarot card. Final after tarot card. I think that was a thing at some point, though. You don't have to die to be reborn. The dragon is the snake that never lost its feet, never lost its legs. The salamander with wings. Rather than so it's the salamander from the Ace of Wands and the Queen of Wands, rather than the snake from that Seven of Cups. Because the snake lost its legs for what it went down and needed. And then your winged serpent is like a quetzalcoatl or a quetzalcoatl. Your winged serpent with legs is like your dragon. My Mercury is in Pisces in my 12th house. Okay, my brain operates in metaphor, and I'm a Pisces sun, so I love the artistry of it all. Okay, ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, and also Venus. And Venus is exalted in Pisces, so I feel like the after tarot does not want to talk anymore. After tarot is like I said what I said, and I'm done. Okay, we'll do two more. It's the final card. Just one card. Or no. Look what's at the bottom of the deck, though. There you go. Da-da-da-da-da. What's at the top there? Ooh. Ace of Cups at the top of the deck. Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Who had the overflowing cup? That was number 5. But the Cup of Knowledge. And then there's the Ace of Cups. Both the serpent and the heart have those like, well, the heart is more red. The serpent or the salamander is kind of orangish. Is the earth the witch, Emily? Excuse me. I don't know the element, but I do know that it's the year of the dragon. And I know that because I've been hearing it so much lately. Like, I feel like within the past few days. Next year is the year of the dragon. Next year is the year of the dragon. I think that's one thing that I don't want to say it does us a disservice, but I feel like shadow work and excuse me, I feel like maybe not. I could be wrong. I feel like I don't say that enough sometimes. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm just like, take it as it resonates. If it resonates, and if it don't resonate, if it ain't true for you, don't take it. You know? I feel like I do more of that and less like, I could be wrong, but I could be wrong. And I've already talked so much that I already forgot what I was going to say. But I remembered. I feel like healing, frequency, vibrations, law of attraction, manifestation is so like mainstream, honestly, now that it can be really easy for us to self-initiate and then try to accelerate on top of that. So it's almost like the natural process of like something comes up, you handle it, you deal with it, you face it for however long it takes you, you heal from it, you your life changes as you anchor in that healing and as your choices and decisions change, and then something else comes up. Like there's this natural progression, but then there's this accelerated like ascension, raise your vibration, dark nights of the soul, this is what you need to do. And it's like we consume so much content and then try to cram everything in, and then it's like, of course, we may get lost in it sometimes rather than maybe taking a more natural path. Or it's like, again, it creates this unnecessary pressure on us to do or be certain things in a way that may not be for us, you know. But we don't do ourselves any favors, excuse me, when we take paths that are not ours, when we match paces that don't match our timing. It's like it will happen naturally. Some lady of the waters. I ain't seen you. Who's at the bottom of the deck? The singer of healing is at the bottom of the deck. This is 10, 10, 37, 10, and the number 10. We have this lady of the waters and the singer of healing, and the archangel of healing is the king of cups in the spirit keeper's tarot. What's your number? 37. Excuse me. Tobira of the waters. Tobira makes me think of Tobira, and I'm pretty sure Tobira is Japanese for gate or like a gateway. Let's see. I'm going to switch Google to Japanese and understand like maybe 3 words that Google is about to say to me. Oops. Change language to Japanese.
はい、これからは日本語で話します。
扉は英語で何と言いますか？
君に英会話によれば、ドアは名詞でドアという意味だけでなく、玄関や一軒などの意味を持ちます。複数形はドアーズです。
Door。英語で話してください。
All right, I'll respond to you in English from now on.
Thank you. Goodness. So it's door, gate. It's like similar-ish, but I mention it because behind the Lady of the Cup was the guardian of the gate, and then we have the gate of the waters, ish. Tobira of the waters, emotion, serenity, meditation, gracefully accepting change. Gracefully accepting change. For a moment, close your eyes and just let yourself feel the cool, sparkling fairy waters flowing through your fingers. Imagine drinking this sparkling coolness from your own cupped hands and imagine the water flowing down your throat. You may even be able to feel that magical energy filled coolness flow right through to your toes. Ah, feel better? Throughout the world, there are healing wells, both for general health and specific ailments. In modern times, many of their fairy qualities have been diluted, even though Tobira and her healing helpers do all that they can to keep them clear and potent. Fairy waters reflect the emotional state of the human people around them. So the fairy waters that come through to our world have lessened in purity and power in places where people are living especially stressful, civilized lives. As one Oracle Group member observes, there are profound connections with drinking water, tears, wells of forgiveness, water as the fluid of transforming nutrients in the body, the connecting flow. I could flow on, but I'll stop. Thank you, Holly. That's funny because one of my friends just made a Facebook post. She was like, "Do you ever cry and taste the tears?" Or it was like, "Do you ever cry and the tears taste exactly how you feel?" Salty AF. That's why I smiled a little bit when I read the tears. But also, believe it or not, there's an anime that I'm watching, and like I said, my brain operates in metaphor. Okay, but there's an anime that I'm watching, and it's about like there are people from Japan who get reincarnated into another world, and there are winter sprites, and winter sprites, like the fairies of water, they take on attributes of like it's like they're sensitive to the thoughts and feelings of people and they take on or become what the people think about. In Japan, they have a winter shogun that I know nothing about outside of this anime. So is it real or not? Probably real, but there's a winter shogun in Japan. And so all of the Japanese people who experience winter in this world introduce the winter shogun. So now these collections of winter sprites or winter fairies or whatever, they form the winter shogun. And it's like it brings a threat from another world to that one because they're sensitive to the thoughts of people, regardless of where they come from. And then we had the Mask of Truth that came out first, that was all about seeing the truth of who you are outside of the fears and other stuff. And then after that came out what imaginary dangers, unrealistic, or whatever. It was like fears that are unaddressed. And now we have a mention of waters that take on healing waters that take on properties of the humans around them. And so if the humans around them are full of fears that are unfaced and unaddressed, then it dilutes the water's ability to like heal. It diminishes their power to assist and to help. And then there was that person drowning in the back. Anyway. Number 10, the singer of healing. Speaking of healing waters. You'll be a memory. Who is that? Some video game time. I can't think of it right now. The singer of healing, healing of body, mind, and spirit. The song of this singer has the power of healing deep wounds of the spirit, wounds that can destroy mortals or immortals alike. Faith betrayed, love dishonored, trust abandoned, and other injuries of the spirit all inflict serious wounds, which are reflected in the body's illnesses and injuries. Through the song of healing, we may be restored and renewed, but only if the wounded one is prepared to forgive and let go, returning to love and compassion. As always, with all gifts of spirit, healing is offered, not forced, and requires active participation on our part. So thank you for the confirmation from, honestly, that was yesterday. I feel like yesterday, one of the things that Archangel Michael was helping us with, or the Archangel Commander was tasking us with facing or resolving the 3 trials of the Archangel Commander or whatever. Right, what cards was it? I feel like it was the 9 of Swords. Maybe it didn't actually. Maybe I took a picture of it. I forgot about that. I was going to post it to my community page so that if folks just wanted to look at the cards, they could and didn't have to try to look at the thumbnail for the video. Should be right here. The 9 of Swords and the 5 of Wands. That 5 of Wands was the only 5 that didn't come out. The 5 of Cups, 5 of Swords, and 5 of Pentacles all came out, but there it is. The 9 of Swords with the 5 of Wands and the 3 trials of, or 3 tasks of that Archangel Commander who was right there. But that was that energy of like when we aren't in a position to let go of something that has hurt or harmed us because we draw strength from it. A trauma response helps us feel like we have some kind of control. It gives us a source, or it gives us a feeling of some kind of security, even if it's not great. And it was that part where it's like the healing is offered, not forced. We may be restored and renewed, but only if the wounded one is prepared to forgive and let go. With the 9 of Swords and the 5 of Wands, it felt like an area where we had difficulty letting go of something. And then again, like this card talks about the reduced effect, the dilutedness, reduced effectiveness of healing fairy waters. This card says that the healing is offered, not forced. And there was Liss, the one that offered help. The one who's not in an office somewhere, but who's boots on the ground, right? So it's yours if you want it. The dichotomy of the human condition. Oh, to be human and full of hypocrisy and paradox. Nonsense. So anyway, that's what I got from the Fairy Oracles and the After Tarot. Thank you, Holly, for spending about an hour and a half almost with me. Thank you, anyone else who is watching, I guess. I'm kidding. I hope that whatever you need, you find. I hope that you are taking it as it resonates. I hope that you are using your intuition and your discernment when it comes to determining, deciphering what is for you. Why am I putting these down here as if I'm not about to put them back? As you're determining like what is for you, but also like I feel like in general, as a broad, like spiritual umbrella, there's like how, what is it? It's like, it's not to judge, like don't judge others, don't judge yourself. But we also have discernment. And being discerning and being judgmental aren't the same. And sometimes I don't know if it works against our discernment to be so non-critical or to idealize being non-critical, if that makes sense. It's almost like, I don't know. Come on, Mercury and Pisces in the 12th house retrograde. Also, this Sagittarius season, girl, she ain't playing. And Mercury just entered Capricorn. I feel like Mercury and Capricorn may low key be a little like F your feelings. Even though I feel like Mercury and Sagittarius can also be a little bit like F your feelings. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's like, I don't know. But it's, yeah, I feel like, again, like there's a difference between being discerning and using discretion and being judgmental. And I think sometimes there are certain uh, idealized qualities or idealized ways of being that might work against our discernment a little bit. And maybe the difference could be something as simple as like discernment will be like, that's not for me. Judgmental might be like, you shouldn't do that either. Like that's not for anybody. Like, oh, I can't believe you do that. But it's like, just because it ain't for you don't mean it's not for me. And just because it's not for me doesn't mean that it's not for you. Right? Use your intuition and discernment. But that's just something that I've thought about. Um, right. It is not the season to ask people what they really think and what they really feel. And that's your tough, because if you want, your feelings might get hurt. So stay inside, water signs. I'm kidding. um, but yeah, that's it, I guess. And I guess I also help you on awareness. Not an awareness. I don't know. Again, I just feel like there are some ways that we can maybe unintentionally dull our discernment, mute our intuition, forego paths that are ours because of the communal nature. It's almost like people being community driven is a double edged sword. On the positive side, who doesn't want to belong and know that they're not the only one going through or experiencing something in life, because loneliness and isolation aren't great. But on the other side, I think sometimes we can sacrifice what makes us different, special, or unique in order to fit into some gray communal blandness. Like we do what everyone else is doing and we forego what is ours. But that in turn is like it dulls the community's ability to be to have a greater presence or to be more capable overall. Like even if we think about the science of evolution on this planet, it's like everything started as single-celled organisms until a few of them got together and they were like, okay, so we're going to get the food, you're going to do this, and they're going to do that. And we're going to trust each other and we're going to rely on each other. And then all of a sudden you get like multicellular organisms where now instead of it being a bunch of individuals working together, they somehow through the course of evolution become like organs in a body. You know what I mean? And yeah, we still have like bacteria in us that help us, do whatever they do. And there's still symbiotism, but it's like multicellular organisms came to be because of differentiation, and because you do what you're good at, I do what I'm good at, we help each other, everyone wins. You know? Hey Kirsty, how are you? How art thou this lovely morn? Good morning. Did you sleep in today? I'm just playing. Well, maybe not. Because I think, yeah, you'd be up around this time. I don't know why. Well, maybe. I feel like I have seen you at like 3, 4, 5 your time before. Anyway, it's fine. Yeah, but it's like, that's what makes body truly powerful in a way. When the different organs perform their function well and they communicate with each other. So, anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Like I said, I hope you all have whatever time that you want. And I hope that you are all doing what is for you to do to make your time even more so of what you want. And I hope that if the time is not what you want, that you get whatever you need and you have the ability and capacity to do whatever you need, and that you get closer and closer to it. I guess. I don't know. It's not really going to be it. Thanks again, Holly and Kirsty, for popping in. And I'll catch y'all later. Should I title this? I'm going to try to title this real quick. Fairies of Truth, Hope, Healing, and Fear. Fairies of Truth, Fear. What was the last one? I already forgot. Healing. And how we, because there's something about in like their play, like with G Hobby, it was like if you face the fear, then G Hobby has no power. But like with the last one of the waters, Tabira of the waters, the effectiveness, the healing power of fairy water can be diluted. And how they stack up in a modern human world? Question mark? Question mark? See, then I feel like that's a lot. So we got the After Tarot and the Fairy Oracle. After the fairies, then the rain. And after the rain, the sun shall shine again. I don't know. I should have just kept that. Or I could just leave it as 12-2. Sometimes I don't even change the title. Titles are hard. Or sometimes I make them random. Wait. Tobira? The Gate of Waters. The Guardian of the Gate did come out. I'll just say Fairies of Truth and Fear. Because that was basically the breakdown, right? And Fairies of Truth and Fear. And yeah, we're just... Yeah, that's it. Fairies of Truth and Fear. I don't know. I'll just leave it as 12-2 for now. Because I don't want to sit here for like... Honestly, though, but like at this point, the video was over. So you can just leave. You know what I mean? So I can't sit here. I was like, I don't want somebody to have to sit here and watch me but ain't nobody gonna sit and watch me do anything for any amount of time. You know what I mean? Fairies of truth and fear. Shadow puppets on the cave wall. The allegory of the cave. Can't make you go. True, I can't make you go. Even if I ended this, you could still be here. Don't challenge me, Kirsty. I'm just kidding. I'll get weirdly stubborn and screw myself over. I'm not like that anymore. I was talking to my mom yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I was like, you'll never believe who came across my social media, people you may know. And she was like, who? And I was like, somebody from back in my petty days. As if I'm not still petty. I'm a lot better than I used to be, though. Fairies of truth and fear. Maybe that's it. You can't stay here. Exactly. You ain't got to get off of YouTube, but you ain't even got to get off of my channel. But this video is over. Unless you replay it, but you know what I mean. The live is over. Fairies of truth. Fear. And what was the last one? Excuse me, healing waters. Yeah, I feel like that's good. Fairies of truth, fear, and healing waters. There you go. That's the title. Not even gonna mention the people part. It's fine. All right. So, again, thank you for being here. And again, I'm sure I'll see you at some point, maybe. Like I said, I have a special project of sorts. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, not really. I'm sure I'll be here at some point. I do have one more bottle left. So, I have one bottle of this, a bottle of wine, a bottle of mead, and 2 beers. So I have enough alcohol to come on here at least 2 more times, if not 3.